What was your first reaction when you realized the new Pope is a Jesuit?
You know, it's very interesting. I think anyone who was watching it live, I must say I was watching it live. I watched the smoke live, and it took a few minutes after the hour, so I said, I think it's going to be white. And then, of course, waiting to hear the announcement when the Cardinal Deacon came out. And the audio wasn't good, so I said, oh, the people in the square are going to know it before we do. And they did it, instead of Jorge, they did it in Latin, you know. And so my first thought went to actually Cardinal George, and I said, well, no, they begin with the first name, and then they said Bergoglio, and my first said, oh my God, the first Jesuit Pope. And there were people in the office, and I turned and I said, it's the first Jesuit Pope. I don't think anyone expected it. So many were wondering, is this going to be the first American Pope? Well, it is the first American Pope, South American Pope. So there was this incredible sense of history is being made. You know, it's interesting that there's not been a resignation of the Pope since St. Ignatius Loyola founded the Society of Jesus, nor has there been a Jesuit Pope. And so two historic firsts in the history of the Jesuit order happened almost back to back. So just an occasion of great emotion and great activity in the Church, which we believe is of the Spirit of God.
The significance of this Pope at this time, here we are speaking in Chicago, and people in his homeland are celebrating in their own way, and the people of Italy are celebrating in their own way, and of course he has Italian roots as well. What do you think in terms of the significance of the worldwide Church today, this moment embodies? Well,
this really is the first non-European Pope. His family ancestry comes from Europe, but he is not from Europe. So, and coming from Latin America, where almost half of the world's Catholics are, you know, I think many of the pundits on television are looking at this and they're saying, well, of course, you know, this is like, in the American electorate, this is like California or New York, you know, this is a rich state. Now that's not how the College of Cardinals works, but there is great significance to the new Holy Father coming from a land where almost half of the world's Catholics live and pray.
As the world's largest order, the Jesuits have a long-standing tradition of serving the Church. And in some regards, it's no different to serve this Pope than any other Pope. But in some regards, it is different. As you reflect on the relationship between the Society and the Vatican, what comes to mind as you think about these early days?
Yes, well, you know, I don't think we're expecting any special treatment. Because remember, the Jesuit order is the vicar of Christ. I think in some ways we're going to be on our toes, perhaps, a little more. He knows us intimately. He himself, a former provincial, someone who knows our institute, who knows our charism, who knows our spirituality. He also knows our availability to serve the Church wherever in the world we're needed. And I could see him calling upon us to say, I need you to go to this place, to this situation, to this great need. Let go of what you're currently doing and go where the need is greater. And as someone who knows our charism, I trust we will follow.
You found a particular significance in his name choice as Pope Francis I. Can you speak briefly about that?
Yes, and you know, I think some already we're beginning to speculate, was it St. Francis of Assisi or St. Francis Xavier, although just as when our Pope Emeritus, Pope Benedict, chose the name, was it St. Benedict, or was it other popes named Benedict? We don't completely know, but look at the charism of both saints, and I'll begin with the first saint, St. Francis of Assisi. St. Francis of Assisi was influential in the conversion of St. Ignatius Loyola. When St. Ignatius Loyola was recovering from a battle wound and he was contemplating his future, he asked, and this is written in his autobiography, what would St. Francis do? And really imagining Francis's choices, Francis's actions, Francis's passion, Ignatius was stirred in his own heart to a conversion and to a dedication to a life which led to the growth of the Jesuit order. And so one can see that for this son of Ignatius Loyola, Pope Francis I says, I too look to Francis to see what he would do. And then Francis Xavier, the great missionary, the one who brought the gospel, the patron saint of missionaries, brought the gospel to so many new lands. And this man whose family came from Italy and went to Argentina, we see that same evangelical missionary spirit alive. And so one only is in awe and wonder of the choice of the name St. Francis I.
So what's your simple prayer for this Pope and for the Society and the Church?
Well, my prayer always for the Pope is that God give him good health, good strength, that the passion and the humility which he represented when he first met the people, the worldwide communion of Catholicism, that continue with him. My prayer for the society is that we continue to persevere, honing that great charism that is our foundation and carrying that forth in the years ahead. And I hope that his election and the spirit, that the captivation of the world's captivated in a moment like this, is a leaven for all people, to a call to a greater belief, a greater hope, a greater confidence in the saving power of God.